So let's go over our study guide for dividing fractions. You guys have felt really successful in this. The hardest part is being able to tell which problem has the whole number as the dividend and which problem has the whole number as the divisor. So we're going to draw pictures for some of these. The first ones are pretty straightforward, but I'm going to draw models to support my answer. So I need to draw a model of 1/8. Because remember, our first step is always to draw the first number. 1/8 divided by 2. So I have to split it in half. And then I count one part. Because one part goes to the first person, the other part goes to the second person. So it's equal to 1. 8 times 2 is 16. So there's 16 sections. For the second problem, yours says 1/2 here, and it might be hard to see. They're shaded in. In class, I talked about it, but in case you missed it, one part should be shaded in, and this is divided by 2. So I already drew my first number, and I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to count. So that was 1/4 divided by 2. I count one part out of, now there's a total of 8 parts. I have to draw my first number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to divide them into thirds. Step 1, draw the first part. Step 2, cut it into the fraction it says. 3, I'm looking for the number of groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 parts. Start with a whole number, end with a whole number. Start with a fraction, end with a fraction. Start with a fraction, end with a fraction. Make sure that you understand that pattern so you can check your work. 3 wholes divided by 1/5. Step 1, draw your wholes. Got it. Divide it into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count up how many parts. 5, 10, 15. Start with a whole, end with a whole. Start with a whole, end with a whole. Okay? All right, Donovan. He wants to share Skittles with 4 friends. He has a bag of Skittles. I'm going to draw it out just to be sure that I do the right type of problem. So Donovan has to give his Skittles to 1, 2, 3, 4 friends. What does Donovan have? He has of a third of a bag. So he's going to take his bag and he's going to share it with 4 friends. The arrow's going this way, so I have to draw this number first. It does not matter that in the problem it has 4 friends. If you did 4 divided by a third, you didn't really understand the problem. You didn't draw a picture. You just picked numbers out and did something. That's not showing understanding. Draw the picture. I'm starting with a third. This is my total. Divided by 4 friends. How much is each friend going to get? So let's draw our picture. Draw it into thirds. Cut it into 1, 2. How much of the bag of Skittles is each friend going to get? Each friend is going to get 1 part. And now there's a total of 12. All right. Let's talk about number 6, Logan. Logan wants a video game designer, is allowed to use a third of storage, typo, on his computer. So he has this computer, so here's like the monitor, and then here's the little box. Here's the monitor, right? That has his video games going on it. Here's the box, that's the computer. So he has storage into it, and there is 1/3 storage. He wants to divide it into 3 parts. What fraction of the storage? So this is the total. This is what he's starting with. So I have to take a third and divide it into 3. So let's take a third and let's divide it into 3. What fraction of storage should you use for each project? This is for the first project. And now I have a total of 9 boxes. Start with a fraction, end with a fraction. So what fraction of the storage should you use for each project? 1/9. 7. Jeremy is building a lacrosse goal. He has a piece of PVC pipe that's 8 feet long. How many 1/2 foot pieces of pipe can he cut? So I have Jeremy here. He's trying to make a big goal. Okay, here's his lacrosse stick. He's trying to make a goal. Okay, so he has this long piece of pipe. That's 8, whoops. Sorry, you can't see my picture. There's Jeremy. There's his lacrosse goal. He's playing lacrosse. Here's his long pipe. It says how many 1/2 foot pieces can he cut? So he has to cut it into 1/2. This is the total. This is what he's starting with. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have to cut them into halves. First step, draw the first number. Second step, cut it into the right number of pieces. Third step, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 30, 40, 50, 16. That would not make sense if I ended with a fraction because the question said, how many pieces can he cut? He can cut 16 pieces. I start with a whole, I end with a whole. Okay, 8. How many 1/2 cup servings are in 8 cups of dog food? So I have a bag of dog food, and inside of it there are 8 cups. And a serving is what I take a little scoop and I pour it into my dog food bowl, right? And what does it say goes in my dog food bowl? 1/2 cup. What is my total? Is my total the 1/2 of a cup, or is my total the 8 cups? My total is the 8 cups. And in division, total goes first. 8 divided by 1/2. When I was rewriting this, I used the same exact number. So there you go. My model for above is going to be the same. On your test, it's not going to be the same. I guess I must have had 8 1/2 in my brain or something. All right, number 9. So use the following problems. Use models, equations, and words. All right. So the last few ones are the ones that will earn us a 4, the higher level thinking. So they get a little harder, and we have to do more than one step usually. It snowed again in Raleigh. There are 8 parking spaces that are covered in ice. So like here's like these little parking spaces, and I'm going to put a car in it. That's supposed to be a car. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are parking spaces. Let's label my bad drawing. Parking spaces. If it takes 1 hour for 1/3 of a space to melt, how many hours will it take to get all 8? So if it takes 1/3 to melt, it takes 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. How many hours is it going to take? So I have my 8, and I have to split them into thirds. And that tells me how many hours, right? So it's going to take 1/3 of an hour for this one. It takes an hour for this third to melt. Let me go back and read. If it takes 1 hour for 1/3 of a space to melt, how many hours will it take to get all 8 spaces cleared? All 8 spaces cleared. So I have to split all of them up into, so 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So I'm counting by 3s. So it will take 24 hours because the question said how many hours till it's all cleared. All right, I have to write a word problem for these. Right, I have to write a word problem. So I'm going to start with this one. Choose one of the following. So let's see. What can I have 1/4 of? I have 1/4 of a pizza left. When I divide it by 2, I have to share it. you to use the leftovers for lunch and dinner. There's my 2, lunch and dinner. How much will I eat at each meal? How much will I eat for each meal? You can take 1/4 of anything and share it with 2 people. Okay, so I have 1/4 divided by 2. This one told me to solve it. So I'm going to draw my 1/4, and I have to share it with 2. So my answer would be 1/8. Okay. I know that all of you are capable of doing really well on this assessment on Thursday. This assessment on Thursday. So we need to really make sure that we take our time, draw models and pictures. Draw pictures to make sure that you're setting the problem up correctly. Slow down and double check from your model and your math facts that you don't make a mistake on your multiplication. Don't make a mistake by your repeated addition and counting because you're going too fast. Because I know that you're capable of doing really well on this. You're going to be frustrated with yourself if you make a small mistake of a counting error or you didn't take the time to draw the pictures because you were rushing.